first video and it deals with transformation of sentences. Normally, this topic or this concept is tested under two questions in the paper. One, where it says combine without using and, but, or so, or where it says rewrite the sentences as per the instructions, or what you normally call as do as directed. So in today's topic, transformation of sentences, we will deal with sentences which say begin the sentence with no sooner, hardly, or scarcely. So let's see how to do this. Now, when the question says begin the sentence with no sooner, there are actually two ways of doing it. So how do we do it? Let's take an example. The example is the chief guest arrived, the play began. This is just an example. Now, if you are given this sentence either as a question under combine the sentences or rewrite the sentences, if you are given a sentence something like this, and if the instruction says begin no sooner, there are two ways of tackling this sentence. You begin, first you write no sooner. The first thing you do is you write did. Then you take this part, you write no sooner did the chief guest. Now here the trick is this. You have to look at the verb. If you are using did in your sentence, the verb should be the first form, the base form of the verb. Here it is arrived, so it will be arrived. No sooner did the chief guest arrive than, now write the rest of the sentence the way it is. The play began. That's it, your answer. No sooner did the chief guest arrive than the play began. Simple thing you have to keep in mind. If you begin a sentence with no sooner, next you add the word did, change the verb into the first form, the base form, add than, and then write the second part of the sentence the way it is. But you can have another sentence, another correct sentence in a different way. If you write no sooner had, you make it had, no sooner had. Now keep in mind, if you are writing had, you have to use the third form of the verb. So it's arrive, arrived, arrived. So no sooner had the chief guest arrived than the play began. So simply, if you're writing did, you have to use the first form of the verb. If you're writing had, you have to use the third form of the verb. Okay? Another example. As soon as I finished the letter, comma, I posted it. Suppose this is your sentence. So no sooner did I, so we begin no sooner did I finish, first form of the word, the letter, then write than, I posted it. If you are writing no sooner had, third form of the verb, had I finished the letter, then I posted it. Okay? So let me repeat once again. If you are beginning a sentence with no sooner and you write no sooner did, you use the first form of the verb. You add than and write the second part of the sentence the way it is. If you write no sooner had, you write the third form of the verb, add a than and write the sentence the way it is. However, this is not all. There are certain exceptions too. For example, if we are talking about something in a sentence that is a regular habit or a regular occurrence. For example, as soon as the alarm rings, comma, mother wakes up. Now analyze this sentence. It talks about a regular occurrence, something that happens normally, that happens every day. As soon as the alarm rings, mother wakes up. Now, if you are asked to begin this sentence with no sooner, there's a difference over here. So you will write no sooner does. Keep this in mind. For every regular occurrence or a regular habit, we use the verb does. No sooner does the alarm ring, the sentence, than mother wakes up. I hope you have understood this. Now, what have you understood? When you have been asked to make a sentence that begins with no sooner, there are two ways of writing it. One is when you write no sooner did, then you remember to use the verb in the base form, add a than, and the rest of the sentence. If you write no sooner had, you have to use the third form of the verb, add a than, and the rest of the sentence. If it is talking about a regular occurrence, you write no sooner does the verb in the first form and than and the rest of the sentence. Okay, so I'll give you 4 sentences. You can test yourself and see whether you have understood this concept clearly. So now I'll give you 4 sentences. You can do them on your own and test whether you have understood this concept really well. So the first sentence is, as soon as I sat at the table, comma, the doorbell rang. And your instruction is begin no sooner. Now, interestingly, if the question in the council exam says begin no sooner, you can have 2 answers, one with did and one with had. But if they specify no sooner did, remember to use the first form of the verb, or if they say no sooner had, remember to use the third form of the verb. So this is your first sentence. Second one, the thief saw the policeman, he hid himself. The thief saw the policeman, he hid himself. Again, the instruction may say no begin no sooner did, or it might say combined using without and but or so. You can use a similar sentence. The third one is the sun rose, the farmer set for his fields. Here I am specifying that you need to begin the sentence with no sooner had. Okay? And finally, as soon as the newspaper reaches the stands, comma, it is sold out. Begin no sooner. Now these 4 sentences deal with what I have just explained. They are very easy. If you are just a bit mindful, you will get it correct and you have your 1 mark in do as directed. As soon as I sat at the table, the doorbell rang. no sooner. That means you can have it with no sooner did, no sooner had. The thief saw the policeman, he hid himself, no sooner did. It specifies that you have to use did. The sun rose, the farmer set off for his fields. It specifies no sooner had. As soon as the newspaper reaches the stands, it is sold out. It says no sooner. Keep in mind it's a regular occurrence. So you can write down the answers, and in the next video when I upload the answers, you can check for yourself whether you have understood this concept clearly. Now interestingly, along with no sooner, there is one more sentence which you can do very well only if you keep the same principles in mind. Okay, so when you have a question which says begin hardly, now hardly and scarcely, they are synonyms. You can use one for the other. So if the sentence says begin a sentence using hardly, so you write the same way you have been writing for no sooner. You can write hardly had, or you can write hardly did. Okay, so hardly, you can also write did. When you're using had, you will use the third form of the verb. When you're using did, you will use the first form of the verb. The only thing you need to keep in mind is, in a sentence that begins with hardly, you have to use the word when. The examiner will look for the word when in a sentence that begins with hardly. It is the same thing, they're synonyms. So hardly had I finished the letter when I posted it, or scarcely had I finished the letter when I posted it. Hardly did I finish my work when the lights went on. So the gist of today's lesson is you can use hardly and scarcely again with had and did. With did, you need to use the first form of the verb. With had, you need to use the third form of the verb. In a sentence that begins with hardly and scarcely, it's important for you to use the word when. When you're using a sentence beginning no sooner, you have to use the word than. If you keep this in mind, I'm sure you will not make a mistake in your answer. Also keep in mind, when you begin a sentence with no sooner, there's no need of any comma. Children have this habit of putting a comma just before or just after than. It is absolutely not required. So happy learning. The sentences, try them out, get your answers ready, and when I upload the answers, check and see whether you have understood the concept. Thank you.